Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Thank you for stopping by, checking out our YouTube video. My name is Rick Ramirez. I'm also known as Rick's 2 Cents. We're joining a live question and answers today for all of you guys with my co-host, um, Roger from Roger Shop, and Steve from Steve Makes Anything, and Conrad, the behind-the-scenes man who is our monitor. So if you get out of line, he'll bump you. So don't do that. So, of course, these videos are for questions and answers. So the floor is open. It's an open mic to answer any question you have. You guys want to say something before we get started?
Go ahead, Roger.
Well, I've got a project coming up. How do you like this flag here? It needs a little work.
Yeah, it does. What's the deal with that?
Did you pass it through a lawnmower?
This is actually goes on top of our boat. And
Okay.
it's a little worse for wear. So I'm going to make probably 3 different ones and then interchange them through the year. All be themed with rum, of course.
Okay. Okay.
That's a sublimation project. Yep. Got
Nice
well, you see, I could put the Jolly Roger up there because and rum makes me jollier.
You just got to be careful because last time you started talking about your boat, some guy like dropped in the comments where you lived. Like, whoa, calm down, Stalker. That was a little weird.
Yeah, that one kind of surprised me. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, I jumped out of YouTube earlier. Obviously, I'm subscribed to all you guys, so cool. But I was jumped on your YouTube earlier this week, and we had kind of talked offline outside of this video. And I thought you did some interesting work with acrylic. That was one of the things I said that I wanted to do. Do you mind kind of sharing what you did and maybe?
I actually did a video on this one quite a while ago. It's 2-color. They're actually pretty easy to create, and you end up getting kind of 3 colors because things like the text are actually engraved on both. There's 2 pieces of acrylic along the side here. The text is engraved on both sides, so you get the color combination. So I don't know, you probably can't see it on screen, but these are actually kind of purple.
Okay, it looks like blue and red.
Yeah, whereas the ship and the guy standing in the beam are red and the beam is blue.
So I saw the original video. It's a cow, right, getting zoomed up by a.
Oh, is there? I don't know. I just grabbed a bunch of things and put them together. I find myself using AI generation a lot more now, just because I can't deal with any potential copyright issues.
Nice.
But this one, I found the ship and the guy doing this, and then just put the beam in myself. I didn't know there was another one like it.
I kept seeing one where it's like a cow it's with an alien kind of, and they're like sucking up the cow because like people always say that I don't know that aliens come and do weird things to the animals. I saw a similar image. It was like that, but could have been AI generated as well. But I thought that was pretty cool. So
this one wasn't AI generated. I just took a bunch of clip art and stuck it all together.
No, I think it's definitely cool. Yeah, so if you guys want to check that out, you're interested in making some acrylic. Obviously, that was on a CO2.
Yeah, that one is
yellow look.
Right, so you could go to his video, go to his channel and check that out. But I thought that was a pretty good. I know, Roger, you do a lot of acrylic on your K40, right?
I do quite a bit too. Mostly, I make unicorns. But I have a market for them.
You can't make a statement like that without explaining yourself.
I don't make them just for the heck of it. I have a customer that wants these clear acrylic unicorns, and she buys quite a few of them from me.
Okay.
So it's not like a different unicorn every day. It's just
it's the same one all the time.
Really?
There you go. Hey, Steven.
Same unicorn every time. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I end up working with a lot of acrylic. I make a lot of signs and cut a lot of letters for people. It's easy money, really, because like you can cut a handful of letters out in 5 minutes. So
I've been really getting crazy into the 3D layering because of the challenge coins. And Roger and I are both IBW, so I talked to our local. And I think I'll be able to make some challenge coins for Local 9. So anyone's
Oh, there
union
you
in the
go.
house. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll share that with you guys when I do it. I'm probably get started on it this weekend, but obviously when you do anything that's union related, if you're touching their artwork, you better damn well get the approval of the union.
Yeah.
You know, they won't sue. They just might send someone to beat you up, right? They'll be the Irish or Italian, probably, you know. But yeah, so I got his blessings, but of course I'm gonna send him one and make sure he's cool with it. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that.
There, Steven likes the light. They're really easy to make. There's a video on my channel. I made that video, I don't know, probably a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, it just came up in my news feed, and I was on YouTube, and I actually watched the whole thing. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool.
I've been doing a pretty aggressive tweaking of SEO. So things, I noticed videos that I tweaked have been popping up a lot more. So a lot more views all of a sudden.
And I know you've been bugging me to tell you my little inside secret.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have a conversation offline.
Yeah. I'm still interested, but yeah, so my on YouTube SEO has improved a lot.
Yeah.
Just gets things out there a lot more.
Oh, so hey guys, you guys got any questions or anything you want to know about us? You know,
there's
for
a
us
question
to answer you
right here.
Okay. Hi, I have a question. I bought a Anglo laser 40 watt for my small business. Is this a good option? What is your opinion? Mostly I'm gonna make engraving, some cutting. How about longer nano 612 watt? Okay.
So the 40 watt's a good choice for cutting. Not quite as good for engraving, although Algo Laser does weird things with how they stack the diodes in the module. So I haven't seen the 40 watt. I talked to them about it, but it's a what's the Kickstarter? It's a Kickstarter project, so it's been closed until they actually release. I don't know. Do you have a Nano, Roger? Can you comment on the Nano?
No, I know they have a fundraiser going on right now with a Nano.
Yeah.
And if they reach their $700,000 goal, then
I think it's crazy seeing large manufacturers on Kickstarter. Like, wow, like you think of like mom and pop shops. You don't think of large manufacturers.
It's a good way for them to get free engineering, right? Well,
oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm just, I was just surprised to see it.
Creality does it too a lot, and it that's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they do it.
Well, Exco did it.
Yeah,
Exco did it with the S1.
So
actually, they did it with the P2 too.
I would say too, to your question, is it really depends on what do you plan on doing with it. Like, and what I mean by that is, what is the material that you plan on using? You know, because like, I know we always say 20 watt is the sweet spot, right? You want 20 watt at least, because a 5 or 10 watt laser. Not saying you couldn't do it, but you're gonna outgrow it really fast. But just you go buy like a 200 watt laser and you're using 2%. Like, what's the point, right? So
if you're engraving large things like, let's say, porch signs or large signs, yeah, that'll work fine because you're not looking for extreme detail. You know, if you're just doing letters and that type of thing.
Yeah, so let us know what you're engraving or what you plan to engrave or what your thoughts
are. That's what I was going to say is engraving and cutting watt, right? Because you're not going to cut that sign with a diode laser.
Right.
But if you're doing wood or black acrylic, you can do black acrylic with a diode laser. You can certainly engrave on stainless steel.
Absolutely.
But there are lots of things you can't do.
So here's something I was looking to do. I just...
Oh.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, wow,
that's got to go. So I just made this the other day, and it's probably...
The Matrix.
Yeah.
The Matrix is real.
A glitch in the Matrix, yeah.
Yeah, the aliens from your spaceship there are getting after him.
Yeah. I got to get in front of it. So it's 1/4-inch material, you know, wood and whatnot. And I was thinking about making something similar like this, but like candle holder. You put a candle inside and then use like a laser to do fretwork, just to carve it out so it's a bunch of hollows. I was going to take it over to the scroll saw to do similar. But what size laser do you think would work? Light wood, something like.
You're trying to do an inlay?
Not so much an inlay, but just cut all the way through.
Oh, all the way through.
And do an insert
20 or
image?
30 watt. 20 or 30 watt would do that.
To basically carve through the material, kind of like.
How thick is that?
It's a quarter inch.
And what is it? Is it softwood? Like, is it pine or something?
No, this is birch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. I mean, you'd get through it with a 30-watt laser, but you'd have to really fine-tune the cutting. Otherwise, you'd end up with charcoal sides.
Okay,
Yeah, so my suggestion is, and it's just from my personal experience, whenever I'm cutting through something, it's always been a cleaner cut and a better cut to just put masking tape over the top of it and cut through the masking tape. And the reason I say that is, for one, that I don't have to remove as much of the residue from the black, right, from the cut. Yeah. And it does seem to cut better. And I won't go into details, or I'll never make a video on it, because I think Steve made a video that pretty much explains it. The kerf.
Good old kerf.
Right. Yeah. So basically, if you don't know what the kerf is blowout, right? In layman's terms. On the backside, what's your blowout like? So I think it helps with the kerf, maybe because just the way the beam is hitting. I don't know. I don't know the science behind why it looks so much better on the backside, but I've had great luck using masking tape.
Yeah, if you have good air assist, you won't get soot on the front or back.
Okay.
I usually have some samples around here, but
I like to use like a real light woods, like a cedar, just a little tiny black charge, like just. And if you wipe it, it kind of like goes into it, and it's just a pain in the ass, and you're cleaning that up.
If the wood is, I'd say, a quarter inch, you probably want to do multiple passes, that you'll get a cleaner cut.
For sure.
Okay.
Like lower power and multiple passes.
Yeah, he was trying some matrix weird things. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been meaning to put together a video on how to cut thick material without making charcoal.
HVAC guy, what's going on, brother? What's going on? I'm saving up for 40 watts. I don't have to upgrade too fast.
Yeah, I don't see anything I don't think I'll say I don't see anything realistic beyond 40 watts. IKEA has their 70 watt, but that thing has got to be practically useless at anything but cutting 2x4s.
Okay, well, hold on. I think you need to rephrase that statement. I would say that's true on a diode laser, not a CO2.
Right. Yes, if this is a CO2, yeah, the bigger the better.
Right.
For the same reason, you like 40 watt is kind of the peak for diode lasers, but 40 watt is entry level for CO2.
Yes.
And do people often confuse the wattage of the laser versus the power consumption of the unit?
Yeah, all the time.
That's Roger.
People don't confuse it. Companies confuse people.
I don't think companies are confused. I think that they intentionally mislead customers.
Right.
So
that's what I said. Companies confuse people.
Right. Roger is known for correcting that.
Yeah, they don't do that as much anymore. I haven't seen any reputable companies quoting the input power anymore.
Yeah, I've heard Roger. I could probably make 100 clips on. This is video number 10, by the way. This is awesome. We're on video number 10.
Sweet, it's an anniversary.
I get that comment so many times. Hey, I'm looking at a 120 watt diode laser. No, you're not.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Jack in the shop.
So I was testing this. I got into a bit of a spat with Xtool this week.
Nice.
Yesterday, actually. So I'm building this, or I'm testing this P2, and I cut this ruler. Looks fantastic.
Nice.
Except the 30 millimeters is not 30 millimeters. It's 300 millimeters. It's 298 millimeters. So I sent a message to them and said, hey, you got to allow me to calibrate your laser. And she said, why? I said, I cut a piece that's 300 millimeters long, and on paper, and when I cut it, it's only 298. And her answer, I will never forget this as long as I live. Her answer was, well, it's only 2 millimeters. I said, okay, ordinarily, if I'm just cutting some arbitrary thing, a box, 2 millimeters over 300 is nothing. I said, the problem is I was cutting a ruler. So in fairness,
defeats the purpose.
I said to them, is there a way to calibrate your laser? And she said, well, no, not right now. I said, okay, this is a huge hole in your product line, because I know you can't do this on an X tool. When I did a checkerboard video a while back, and I kind of poked at it a little bit because I purposely used the D1 Pro and I had to calibrate it, but then pointed out that you can't save that calibration value back to the laser. But I had to use Lightburn to do it. And I ended up talking to one of the guys in the engineering team, and he said, what do you want to do? I said, okay, so go to Lightburn, open the or the device settings, and I said, look at the thing where you can calibrate the laser. I want that.
Right.
But the marketing person was like, well, what's the big deal? I said, okay, so this laser is $5,000.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know too many people who will be happy paying $5,000 for a laser, knowing that for $250 they can go on Amazon and buy a laser that they can make more accurate than this one. And that's when I got pointed over to the engineering team. So if this feature suddenly pops into Xtool, and I told them I'd be happy to help you test this,
right?
Because I said a lot of the things I do require accuracy, and let's face it, it's a laser. We use them because they're accurate. If I just want to be within 2 millimeters, I'll use a coping saw, right? So anyway, we'll see if you see it pop up. Hey, that was me. I helped.
Nice one.
But I didn't call it out in the review video.
Yeah, I know who that is, because he's been here. He's one of the rare people who's got to see my shop.
I started off. How do you say that?
Zubetu.
I started off with a Zubetu 10-watt diode that Roger sold me, and now I have 3 more in 100-watt CO2. I blame Roger for my obsession and the success of my budget. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah,
if you're still married,
thanks for helping him.
If you're still married, you can thank him. If you get divorced, you can tell him he sucks. It definitely becomes an obsession. I think that the reason that so many, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the reason once you own one laser, you own more, is because you learn more, right? And if you're a driven person to be able to do something bigger and better, then you need the bigger and better machine. It's not like you got to have the biggest laser on the block. It's just that you outgrow it, just like kind of like a bike, right? You can outgrow a motorcycle. I think you can outgrow a laser.
Well, it depends on the materials too. If you suddenly want to work with clear acrylic and you've got a diode laser, you're going to buy a CO2 pretty quick.
Right. But I think
if you want to engrave challenge coins, you're going to have a fiber laser.
Right. But I think when you your logic of thinking when you're first getting the lasers is like something. And then when you start going like the aha moment, like, oh, I can do that. Everything just changes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a slippery slope for sure.
Yeah. Looks like we got a lot of people coming from different places. Do us a favor, comments in the comments below where you joining us from. Let us know when you're joining us from.
Westerville, Ohio. I've been through Westerville, Ohio. I won't say I've been to it. I've been through it.
So I'm coming to Canada, by the way, brother.
Oh, sweet. Where are you going?
I'm going to Quebec.
You're almost close.
Yeah, so I'm spending 3 days in Canada. And then I'm going to the Falls.
Niagara Falls. I used to live there as a kid.
Yeah, and then I'm going to Statue of Liberty.
That's not in Canada.
On the Canada side, there is.
At least it wasn't the last time I saw it.
Well, you can be on both sides. Oh no, the Statue of Liberty is not in Canada, but Niagara Falls, I'm going to be on the Canadian side.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to the Statue of Liberty, and then I'm going to Ground Zero. Do you see the Empire State Building? So I'm going to take some PTO and go on a road trip with my family. So it'll be pretty cool.
Well, if you're in Quebec, make sure you order some good beer, because they have beer that'll put your Modelo to shame there for sure.
It's like 3 beers in
You'll
one.
you'll need to drink 4 of those things you're drinking to make up for 1 can of this stuff.
If I call you all drunk, you know what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we have beers here that are like 10, 11%. It's like a glass of wine, right?
It's crazy. Well, that's what we used to have. Ice House. We used to have Ice House was like that. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember Ice House. I got some bad memories of that one.
Ice House was. Whew. Then when they stopped doing it, I went back to Middle of Light. It was like I could drink a case of beer. Funny. Yeah. So you guys got any upcoming projects? Anything you're going to be working on or showcasing your channels?
I'll be back. I've got something running right now. I got to go check it.
So he has a project. He's not going to tell us what it is. Geez, yeah, I've got a lot of things going on right now. I have some CNC work to do tomorrow. Guy lives not too far from me, actually. He's been engraving. Well, he doesn't have a CNC, so he's been using mine to engrave these big, like it's a whale basically, made out of. He tends to use things like olive wood and stuff, and he brings this like multi-$100 piece of olive wood and plunks it down on my CNC and says, "Can you cut a whale out of this?" It's like, yeah, where's your insurance policy? Jeez.
So I won't mention the company name, but I'm pretty sure you have one, an all orange enclosure, completely see-through.
I do not. I declined.
Okay. So they asked me. And I thought it was funny because then it was like the scratch stuff that you had kind of did on your channel.
Yeah.
Because I think they saw me do the video with the laser bowl leathers.
Yeah, I think they probably watched this stream too.
Yeah.
Because I know they watch all the videos on my channel now.
Yeah.
They're actually sending me. They said they have something else, so they're going to send me something else too.
They said the enclosure, the scratch material, and
I'm not a fan of those enclosures. I don't know. Do you have one of those all plexiglass enclosures, Roger?
Yeah, the Great Carve, the orange one. Yeah, and it's fine.
I said I'm not going to mention the day we get out there.
It's like the Great Carve enclosures. It's a good enclosure, but it is the IKEA of laser enclosures. It took me over an hour to put that together. There's 98 nuts and bolts to put in.
Oh man.
Yeah, except that you still ended up having a bunch of spare parts at the end, right?
Well, fortunately, a lot of the Chinese manufacturers now are throwing extra hardware on. I know why, because let's say you get a nut and bolt and one is missing a thread or something. Well, then they have a tech issue. So now they just throw extra hardware on.
Yeah.
Hence why my CNC is not yet put together. One of these weekends I'll do it.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So these enclosures, is there a minimum size, a maximum size?
So
get through volume.
Go ahead, Steve, take it.
Well, I mean, most of the lasers they tend to be in around the 400 by 400 millimeter range, 450 tops. So they make an enclosure for that. It becomes a problem when you get extension rails.
Yep.
So you end up not being able to buy an enclosure or making your own. Sometimes they have them. I think I don't know if X-Tool ever had an enclosure for the extensions on the D1 Pro.
A Tezer made one for the extension rails, and people got it and said it didn't fit.
Whoops.
They said, I said, okay, hey, I got the extension rails, I got everything. Where's the enclosure? Oh, people are saying it doesn't fit.
A fire in an acrylic enclosure would be a big deal. But I never, with the exception of what I'm doing right now, and my lasers are running just in the next room, making these.
Ceramic tile?
Yeah, these are ceramic tile. And if I can get it, there we go.
Yeah, you got them.
And I have to make 100 of each of these. And they're going in the bathroom of a bar on the wall.
Nice. That's cool.
And
That's cool.
This started out a couple years ago. A guy ordered like 10 of them from me, and then he ordered like 25 more to use as the upper border of the tile in his bar bathroom. And I've been to the bar and seen them. It's kind of neat. Well,
That's
somebody
cool.
else got wind of that, so they wanted 100 of each of those designs. So that's what I got cranking back in the next room.
Yeah, so my opinion on the enclosures is it's pretty much what Steve said, that the enclosures are nice that the manufacturers provide because they're uniquely made for the size of the laser that they're selling you, right? But a lot of the manufacturers, even the ones that are selling the extended rails, they don't offer the extended enclosure. So that kind of sucks. And I think it definitely is awesome so that check that out. Thanks, Steve. It's definitely nice to have a fireproof enclosure, and I think we mentioned this before. But like the Tezer was fireproof, FR. Roger and I were FR every day, right?
Yeah. Oh
All
yeah.
our lives, we're linemen, so we
I've
were
got
FR every day.
I've got FR jeans on right now, and I'm
So do
retired.
I.
I've
So
still
do
got
I.
them. I've still got them. So
Yeah, there.
Please keep those on.
But yeah,
Hey, Corby.
so the idea of being FR, so in the event of a fire, is nice, right? For sure. But like the longer B1 laser, and I'm gonna start an argument, and I know Steve's gonna chime in. He's gonna start the class 1 argument. But the longer B1 laser enclosure, the laser is awesome, but I just don't like the fact that, one, it's rubber. So if there was a fire, it's like, whoa. And two, I don't like the fact that it has a bottom. I would like it to just have no floor.
Those rubber, those things that feel like rubber, it's actually pretty fire retardant, that stuff, that material.
that's a silicone.
Yeah. But the thing is, it definitely doesn't turn it into a class 4 laser.
No, I'm saying that by not having a floor to be
Or
able to
class
have
1,
a pass through, a pass through.
Well, even just the enclosure by itself doesn't make it a class 1.
Okay.
So are the enclosures more for containing the fumes and then passing them out, or is it to block
Pretty much
the light from ambient in the rest of the room?
If you were in a garage if you were in a garage with the garage door open on a nice summer day, who cares?
Yeah, when the weather's nice, I'll run 3 or 4 lasers with the shop doors open. No enclosures.
Right, but if you're inside your house, bad idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in the house.
Okay, so sufficient ventilation and maybe a blow to clear around the laser itself, around the cutting point.
Where did he go? Wait, we need to find out why Corby's torturing himself.
I think because he wants a laser and he hears all the lasers.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did mention he's on my channel. He did mention that that he was looking for a laser. It's too bad you didn't live close, man. I'd give you one for either free or cheap.
Yeah. I got a fireproof enclosure. The fire alarm is in my laser so sensitive, so I switched it off.
Yeah, there is multiple settings on most of these fire detectors. You can set them to less sensitive without actually turning them off.
And you absolutely don't want to try to use your laser in the sun, where the sun's shining on it, if you've got one of those detectors, because it'll trip it.
Yeah.
Found that out the hard way.
So I cut a tree down like a month ago, and I've been cutting it up the last 4 weekends. Every Sunday I've been cutting it up. But the base of one of the trees is like 3.5 feet wide. So I want to cut like as big of a slice out of it and put my laser on it and make a chessboard. So that's an upcoming project. I think it's going to be kind of cool. But I'm looking for, if anyone has any cool Amazon finds or any kind of cool finds, I'm looking for some cool looking legs. I want to cheat on the legs. I'll I'll go to town on the table, finishing it, flattening it, all that. I want to cheat on the legs.
You got a Hobby Lobby by you?
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby's got all kinds of interesting things like that. You can even go cast iron if you get in the right department.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
find a
legs for like making like kitchen tables and side tables.
Yeah, find a wood turner or a welder.
Yeah.
I
want to cheat on the legs.
You must have. I guarantee you, there's one within 5 miles of you for sure, because they're everywhere.
I'm listening. Where do you live? Let's listen.
Well, you have to come to the east coast of Canada.
Too funny. More people jumping in live. Thank you guys. Thank you for all joining us today. Like I said, open mic. This is the question and answer. You got questions. We got answers. Let us know. Michigan.
They're about to get some snow up there. I was watching the weather warning a little bit ago.
It's actually trying to snow here, but it's above freezing. So I'm just watching it go by my camera, my outside camera. It's like, yeah.
Nice one.
It's March. Well, what else is going on? Oh, that's a new blank. Oh, I've been meaning to send that guy a message actually to
I'm gonna finish this video. It'll be I'm gonna post it this weekend. What I did is I went through. He basically gave me every hot selling item on his website. But I went through it, but I'm slicing the video up so that someone can click on the timeline, right, and then bring you to it. So if you're looking for,
so you're putting chapters in.
Yeah, but it's just a pain. It takes forever. Oh, sorry, we both hit at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. Western Canada. Western Canada is okay because I don't have to pay customs or anything, or you don't either.
The one thing I think it's crazy about Canada versus United States is like the density population. What I mean by that is there's so much vast land that it's just like still.
Well, you can spread out here.
No, I'm just saying that in the United States, Illinois, but when you go by us, man, right, Roger? Like 20 years ago, it's a different story, but man, everything is just so being built up here.
Yeah, well, if you want to get away from it all, drive across Nebraska.
Yeah.
It is so weird. Like I own in the area that I live in, I own like the last big chunk of land, and it's like odd, because people have a quarter acre or less.
No, I got to bring this up. And
your geese.
So I do get kind of tired of being blamed for terrible weather in the U.S. because
and smoke.
Well, yeah, we have smoke only because we have a lot more trees than you do. But we're not responsible for your weather. At least not me, because I live 2 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, so my weather's very different than the rest of the country.
Yeah, but you guys caught on fire and bring us all the smoke. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, there was actually a fire in my neighborhood. Like I live across the street from an elementary school, and I see this helicopter flying over about 50 feet above the ground a couple summers ago. And I went around the corner of my house and I had a look, and I just see this big plume of smoke coming from behind the school, and this helicopter was dropping water on it. It's like, holy cow, pack our stuff. We got to get out of here.
Time to run.
But there was a fire about, I don't know, probably 20 miles from me, 20 or 15 miles that burned several thousand acres. Like, it was reasonably big.
That's crazy. What would the shipping and something be like on that? Wink, wink.
Just send me a message. Oh yeah. So here you go. Yes. So if you watch that Oak Island show, it's actually filmed about an hour from where I live.
No way, for real?
Yeah.
I love that show. Only thing that kind of pisses me off is like they like spoiler on these. We discovered something. You're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna watch it. It's like a piece of cloth.
2 hours later, they found a bottle.
My wife's like, why do you watch this show? I'm like, I don't know.
They keep digging. They're eventually going to find something.
It's been on for like 10 years too. Like, it's just like, if you were going to find something, you would have found it by now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think it's it's the aha moment that people think that they might find and what could be there. And
well, the thing I'm continue to be astonished about that show is they're digging down like 160 feet looking for a treasure that was buried in the 1700s. Well,
right.
What do you think? They didn't have like a backhoe or dynamite in the 1700s, right? So how do you think they dug that hole?
Dude, I think that we're not as smart as we think we are, that we reinvent the wheel. We have reinvented the wheel, so to speak, more than once.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
What's that astronomical thing that they found in Greece from like 5000 BC, and it looks like a computer, like a navigational compuder, like an astrolab kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw that too with the watch with all the gears. You've seen that
Yeah.
one? It's like this. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on top of this. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I would love to go there. I know you wouldn't see anything, but if you could go there with like a tourist thing, and I think they open it up every now and then, so many times a year.
Oak Island, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have tours.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
I have not gone in the true spirit of living close to something interesting. I'm not. I never go.
Well, I see. Unfortunately, I did that too often in my life. I lived in Colorado and Denver, and I never went skiing. Right? I lived in New York and New Jersey. I never saw Statue of Liberty. You know, like what the hell's? My parents were horrible. They didn't take us to do things, but you know, as an adult now, I want to take my kids to experience things. I guess where I lived. They are up from the UP of Michigan. All right, Roger, you got to show everyone your beer. What are you drinking, Roger?
Oh, let me throw it up here. Some of these viewers might know what this is.
How many people know what that is?
A can of beer.
Goose Island 312.
Yeah. So I remember before when you not have to dial all the area codes, not to dial area code every number you call. He said it's a can.
Hey, those beer cans are great to if you're just learning how to use a rotary on your laser. Beer cans are great to practice with if they're a painted beer can, because you can and you're not going to cut through it, and if it's full of beer, you're not going to blow it up. So they're just great things to practice with.
Yeah, maybe I usually just put a piece of blue tape on them.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help offline controller of a 440 Pro, then the MPG hand wheel controller. What's the difference? You guys know what he's talking about? Not sure.
I don't know.
I don't have an offline controller for my my 4040. I do have one for my 3018, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get one for the 4030. Well, now it's a 6060, but I have to remind them. I just looked at it and went, you know. I do have a really nice hand controller for my Onefinity.
I got a friend that wants me to engrave mirrors for his home. You got any tips? There you go.
Just engrave on the back.
Yeah, you can engrave on the back. If you have a diode laser, you can just engrave the silver off the back.
Yeah, just have a sacrificial piece, right?
Yeah, and make sure you got something underneath there, because don't do it on the dining room table, or you'll have that engraving on the dining room table, because it'll pass right through that glass.
Right, yeah. But I'd also have to say there's a difference between Dollar Tree mirrors and like mirrors, right? It's like glass, and there's a whole different.
Well, there's also the Dollar Tree mirror is probably not flat. So you always look a little weird in those dollar store mirrors.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of those are like Mylar with a plastic coating over them.
There you go.
Silver backing.
That's it. The Grill Master.
Yep, I don't have it plugged in right now. This doesn't have a very long cord on it. Get this plugged in.
Oh, disco.
Nice one. Are those fairy lights?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
I did the fairy lights on that Christmas tree build. I don't know if you guys saw that build I did. I guess Daniel stole that design from someone else, and then I stole the design for him. Each time the design kept changing, you know.
That's called improvement.
Yeah. They sell both.
These are the controllers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they have two. Honestly, on a CNC that size, I don't know why they have one, actually, but
yeah. I've been seeing people do the controllers on the fiber lasers, and they have like those shortcuts, and all it is just light burn, like moving the image over. Have you seen that? It's like it looks like a
Oh.
keypad. It's
Oh,
like
hang on, let me see if I can get this out of here. Like, oh, I guess I'll have to unplug it like this, like a Stream Deck.
yes.
Yeah. They're actually Stream Decks originally started so that Twitch people could have quick switching from like multiple cameras and whatnot, right? Special effects and stuff. But Stream Decks are actually just a big global macro switch, right? So you can control them to do anything. Like when I'm recording, I have one button here that turns on my whole recording stack and starts recording. It turns on my lights. It does everything. So
Nice. I have a homemade Stream Deck.
yeah, whatever works. Yeah, the Stream Deck is definitely overkill. Let's face it. But it was I got it. It was on sale one day, and I got a discount on it, so I couldn't resist.
I'd sale for $2,000.
No, these things are actually reasonably cheap. They have the small one. I think is like $100.
Nice one. Yeah, no, I
Again,
seen it was only
reasonably
like
cheap, not cheap.
yeah, I seen the ones. It was only like 4 or 5 buttons, the smaller ones they were using.
Yeah, yeah.
was
I think
cool,
there's 6 or something on them.
Yeah.
2 rows
Not
of
bad.
2 rows of 3, I think.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, but I just want to thank everyone for joining our lives. Our lives have been growing. I've been kind of steadily seeing our lives grow, and not just necessarily when we're on the live, but even the views after the live. And I've even been watching that, where it's coming from. And we've been getting a lot of views in Australia. A lot of views in Australia, which is crazy because I haven't seen anyone in the comments comment from Australia, but I've been seeing people watching us from Australia. So
I have a member from Tasmania, and he sends me pictures every once in a while. Tasmania looks like a great place. I really want to go.
yeah. I can't go to Australia, I heard.
Well,
No?
Australia's on my bucket list, but the wife doesn't want to take any flights that long.
Yeah, it is a long trip.
I told her we could stop at Tahiti on the way, or Fiji, or no, too long. I have a hard time getting her flying to Mexico. That's not that far.
Yeah, my wife's French Canadian, and when the whole cartel war started, we went to Puerto Vallarta every other year since we're 17 years old. And the cartel war started, and she's like, "We're not going to Mexico." Blah blah blah. Yeah, when upgrading to a palm router on a CNC unit,
Yeah.
how long can I expect the bushes to last in the palm router?
Long time, really.
Long time. Yeah,
It's a long time to wear brushes out. It really does.
Yeah.
Unless you're
And a lot of the trim routers that are headed towards brushless now too. So
Yep.
in case of buying the right one, right, buy a DeWalt or something, and you're probably going to get a brushless one.
I would say that if you ran it out, you must have made a lot of money, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
If it's end of life, you made a lot of money with it.
Yeah, well, certainly if you used it on money paying projects, you probably won't weep too hard when it dies.
Right, absolutely.
brushes are actually really easy to replace, and they're cheap.
There's a DeWalt. I know a DeWalt has a location not too far from us, Roger, that you can take them and get repaired. Yeah,
brushes are easy. You can repair.
There's a place in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's Acme Tool. If
Okay.
you're in DeWalt or Milwaukee or Makita, that's a toy store. I did a video on that clandestine video because they didn't want me shooting video in the store, but I did it anyway. Did it with my phone and posted it. But that's quite the place.
Don't record the kids.
Yeah, well, I didn't record any people. I was careful not to do that. But
Hey guys, go ahead.
I also had to keep the phone hidden all the time because they were watching me.
What do you think about those glasses? You guys seen those glasses, the Ray-Bans?
Yeah, Clack has a set now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. It seems gimmicky to me.
Yeah. I was going to tell everybody is that we did we had our lives on Fridays at 6:30, and we got a message saying that, hey guys, in the summer months, that Fridays being homebodies, not really doing much because it's cold, sitting home. It's probably actually an enjoyable time to just kick back, review with us, and bullshit and talk with us, or learn and whatever, conversate. But in the summer months, people become more active in doing things with their family and friends. It may be suggested that we move it from Friday, so we moved it to Thursday. And then after we moved to Thursday, I think we kind of missed some of our followers because they may have not have understood that we changed it. And we've done a poll. So we can collectively make a statement, but my poll said that we should make it Wednesdays. So I don't know if you each want to chime in on what Wednesday was, and anyone who's in the live now, what do you think that if we were to make it a Wednesday? When you guys want to jump in?
Let me just look at my latest poll here while we're talking.
And that poll is what I never got around to doing. I just got too busy here.
Yeah, mine was Wednesday by far.
Yeah, Wednesday is
Facebook.
definitely the time.
So next week, we didn't want to change it this week because we didn't tell anyone. So next week we'll have it on Wednesday at 6:30, and that will be our new time going forward. So just so everyone's aware.
Based on popular demand.
Yep. Your Harbor Freight palm router is on my long meal for 3 years. Still use it, but gotta make
I brought this one up. I was actually going to ask how the long mill was. That's another good Canadian company, by the way. They're the guys who build G-Sender.
So I think too, the more money you spend on some equipment, it may necessarily not perform better, but it'll be quieter, right?
And it's more durable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Once you're down, especially on a CNC, if you're engraving, something three-dimensional into a piece of wood, once you're down sub-millimeter, you're probably as good as you're going to get anyway, right? So,
right.
It's just at that point, it's just durability, right? Like I have a Onefinity, but that Genmitsu 66, now it's a 6060. It works just as well, like from a precision standpoint, as my Onefinity for a fraction of the price. A third.
Well, on this question, a spindle and a router are really not the same thing.
Do you want to explain the difference?
They're made completely different. A router is actually not meant for continuous duty. I mean, like on for hours and hours and hours at a time, and a spindle is. It's just the way they're constructed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so I have a spindle on my CNC, and one of the reasons I put it on there is because it's a heck of a lot quieter, and I do jobs that take hours sometimes.
But you guys didn't use the one, you guys modded yours and upgraded for what came with your CNC, correct?
Well, my CNC didn't come with any.
Oh.
And you could buy either you can put a trim router on it, or you can put a spindle. I have an 80 millimeter spindle.
Roger, did yours come with a router?
No, my Analex I modified with the router from Carbide Create, which is kind of made for their CNCs, but I didn't buy their CNC. And then my 4040 Genmitsu, I'm going to put a palm router on from Lowe's of all places because they had them for $40.
Nice.
So couldn't pass that up.
So you buy two, and when one of them goes bad, you just replace it.
I did buy two
for $40. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife gets mad that I do that all the time.
And I'm a DeWalt guy, so having something that's Cobalt is like foreign around here. But
still the DeWalt Tough books.
Yeah, this one, Corby. This is a most likely it's a Onefinity. They make a wall mount version of it, so you can actually stick it on the wall, and it works while it's hanging vertically.
Well, that would take care of the sawdust. I just fall straight down.
It also takes care of freeing up some floor space.
Isn't that like how like Home Depot saws are?
That's how their cut saws are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, if you have wall space, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
A good spindle is going to be up there. You're several $100s.
Yeah, I got mine on Amazon. It was I think $250 US, somewhere in around there.
Nice.
Now mine is a bit of an oddity. It's a 2.2 kilowatt spindle, but it's only 120 volt. So you need a 20 amp circuit on that puppy, or it's not going to run. But most spindles are 220 volt. And those ones do tend to be a little bit more because they're.
Thanks.
Lacrosse. He made it himself.
No, actually, I didn't. I've had this cross since I was
So you have to get into that habit. When somebody says, "Hey, I like that," you just say, "Well, I made it."
So I'm trying to get, and we'll see, 100-watt fiber laser, because I saw them make this video when they were making jewelry, like this cross. You
Yeah.
just go. And I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta have that." And they looked, and I just commented on the video like, "Oh my god, I gotta have that."
Yeah, I think
So,
Monport has one, or is it Monport or Commarker? Somebody has one that's like reasonably cheap, actually. Again,
100 watt.
reasonably is a relative term. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Over $5,000 means reasonably cheap.
No, I think they're more like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I said over $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but a $5,000 one is like a 50-watt, right?
Yeah.
There you go. The 100-watt JPT.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you have one, Jack? Yeah, it's good. What do you make with it? That's my question. Are you making jewelry? What do you utilize a 100-watt laser for? You're not going to light burn and doing 3%.
It's the envy of all the kids on his block.
He's like, "Look what I did, Mom."
Have you tried to cut a piece of paper?
No,
Yeah, try it.
I have not. Yeah.
Diode laser or fiber lasers don't really do much to paper. Now, a 100-watt one might, but certainly a 20 or 30-watt one just won't touch paper. Yet it can engrave a hole through a piece of aluminum.
Oh my god, I have to have that. That sounds like every comment I have on Steve's videos.
Yeah, I've come to enjoy Corby's comments on my videos. It's like, how do I get that?
He says, "I bought a 30-watt Rakis." Yep, that's what that is, or the other one right there. And I did not like it, so I put a 100-watt. So that's a 100-watt. This is a 60-watt. I'm getting all confused in that. This is a 60-watt JTP on this holder. I
Yeah,
gotta
he did an upgrade to 100-watt on the same one.
That's crazy.
How'd you find room in the box for that? Well, I guess if it's a Rakis one, the box is probably on the side, right?
Well, my Rakis is, look.
Is yours the controller underneath? No, your controller's on the floor, right?
This is the 30-watt Rakis.
Oh, okay.
This is the JTP on the enclosures.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have a hard time to get 100-watt in that box. I'm betting he put the box on the floor and left that box empty.
There was some MacGyvering, I'm sure.
Oh no, his is a side tower. There you go.
Yeah. He did some MacGyvering. That's why the same thing with the UV lasers. They have these external coolers, kind of like we're used to with the CO2 lasers. So
I'll start by saying I hate this kind of question because it's like, well, you told me to buy it and it's terrible. It's like,
what laser should I buy?
So if you don't like the F1, you probably don't like 2-watt IR lasers, which means you want something a little more powerful or a lot more. If you're looking for entry level, Commarker B4 20-watt is not bad, but you're not gonna do what Rick's doing with his coins with that.
Right, and we're gonna sound like a broken record with this, but at the end of the day, it's like, why do you want a laser? What do you plan to start with? Right, because when you start with one, you're gonna all of a sudden grow your skill set, and you're gonna end up with 3 different kinds. You're gonna end up one with a CO2. You're gonna end up with a diode. End up with a fiber. You're gonna end up with 3.
Yeah.
Now
start budgeting for it now.
Yeah. Which brand or which one you choose, but you end up with 3 different types. One of our subscribers sent me this long-winded email, and like went in all these things and said like, what he wanted to buy, what he wanted to make, and what could he buy. And I said, you need 2 lasers.
Yeah, I mean, in my shop, I guess yours is probably not much different, Roger. Well, disregard the P2. I have an S1, I have my CO2, and I have the fiber laser in between them.
There you go. Less
And
than
it's a case of
$6,000.
I got this kind of material and I have this job to do. Which one of these lasers am I going to use? Oh, that one works best, right?
Right.
I do that. I have specific ones set up just, for example, these ceramic tiles I'm doing right now. I've got 2 lasers set up just to do those, nothing else. Another one set up for just for coasters. I got one just for porch signs. And of course, then I got my monster laying against the wall over here with that 850 millimeter square work area. And when I break that out,
What laser is that?
that's a longer Ray 5 with a maximum extension kit on it.
Yeah.
So Steve said Roger has about 15 lasers. So cool. But
Actually,
I would agree that
16.
Roger has a lot of lasers, but he is the king of what? What are you the king of, Roger?
Not
What's
sure.
behind you?
Oh, 3D printers.
He's the king of 3D
Yeah.
printers.
Yeah,
He's
a
got
lot
a
of
print
those.
farm. He's
Yep.
got a print farm.
Well, you got the Cheaty behind you. What's the other one? Looks like a Creality.
There's here, I'll move here.
Realities. Oh, there you go.
That's the Ender 3 V3.
Yeah.
Then next to that over here is a couple of Ender 3 V2s. And then if I turn this around, there's 2 King Rune over there, and another Ender 3 V2. And then in the back room, there's longer LK4, LK5, and a TiVo Tarantula Pro, and 2 more Ender 3 V2s.
See, I don't have room for that.
I told you he's the king of 3D printing. He's
So
got the print farm.
when Monport originally contacted me, they said, "Hey, we'll send you an 80 watt CO2 laser." It's like, no, don't send me one. I don't have room for that. It'll be out in the yard. So I tried to get them to settle on a fiber laser, but then they sent me a contract and it was a bit unruly. So I told them I needed to change, and they didn't call me back.
So they, I told you they sent me a message, and I was talking with them, and I said, nah. And I kind of like what they offered me, asked for double.
Yeah.
And then they said, we can't do, maybe next month. Every month we have like a, I said, okay. So we'll see.
Okay, the little
when you guys,
graph you're talking about here is what I call a burn test or an engraving test. And it doesn't come with a laser. You can do it from light burn.
Yep.
You can make your own. There's ones you can download, but they don't come specifically with the laser generally. Yep, like that.
This thing.
Yep.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
Yep.
I don't have any of them laying here close.
Cut test and engrave test. This is off the P2 actually.
this is when it's not going good. This is when it is going good.
Well, I will say if you make one of those up for a 10 watt laser, then you go and throw that same file in a 40 watt laser. It just burns a bunch of holes.
Yeah, the whole thing is like kind of what I was doing with this is that I wanted the gray to stay metallic, like have a shimmer metallic look to it. And I had no idea where to start. So I was way off on this one, but I got dialed in eventually. But then the other thing too is that black versus red versus blue, I mean, they are nowhere near, they can be totally different than each other. So I'm still dialing in all the colors.
Yeah, I find the colors are just a little unpredictable. They're better with like a MOPA, right? But with the diode laser companies keep saying, oh, you can engrave in color. Yeah, you take 2 pieces of stainless steel, or even 2 different places on the same piece of stainless steel, and you engrave with the same power. And one time you'll get blue, and the next time you'll get kind of a brown color. It's like, that's not color. Color is something you can predict. It is color, but it's uncontrolled.
Yeah, so I was doing all that on the 30 watt Reyes, this one right here. I didn't think it was, there was a point to use a 60 watt laser to scratch, that's kind of,
right. But that's one of the reasons to get a MOPA laser, right? Is you get to do reasonably predictable color.
Yeah, so I'm still down those in, but I'm excited.
So Jack got a 22 watt Algo Laser Delta for $500. That's a pretty good price.
Yeah, that's a good buy.
How do you like that laser? I love it, but I don't want to taint anybody. But mine is still sitting right here.
Nice. Says, if you can be honest on review, is it even a review? If you can't be honest on review.
Right. That's why I generally don't take money for reviews.
Neither do I. nor will I do a contract.
Yeah.
And I won't let them see the video first.
I don't mind doing a contract that tells me that you want certain content covered. Like, can you
Yeah.
cover an unboxing? Can you do that's fine. Like you want at least a minimum of this or that. I'm cool with that. But that's the extent of the contract.
Yeah. Because if I want to tell somebody that this laser has, well, I did it with the Creality, and I think they're a little grumpy with me, but it bothers me that they have a 40-watt laser which has a top speed of 25,000 millimeters a minute, where everyone else is 36 or more. And it's like, why would you put a 40-watt laser on this thing? You can't go fast enough to use it.
Fiber laser budget alternative. Please explain the question. What do you mean by that?
You're just looking for a discount fiber laser?
Are you saying you just like where's the best place to buy a cheap fiber laser? Or I don't know what you mean by an alternative to a fiber laser. Let us know. We'll answer your question. We're here.
I mean, if you're just looking for a reasonably good, low-priced fiber laser, the Commarker B4 isn't bad. It's available in anywhere from 20 to, I think, 80 watts.
Right. So the only thing that I would say is that a lot of the US-based laser manufacturers are just reselling rebranded lasers, right? So if you can buy a laser factory direct, it's not always, but sometimes like 100% off. Like they're 100% marking the price up. So that could be a great.
Yeah, this is the harsh reality, right? There just aren't that many manufacturers of lasers. So you look at IKEA and who are they owned by, and Aether, I think, are all part of the same company. In the fiber world, you look at the laser you have sitting behind you there with the box on the floor, and then compare that to say a Cloud Ray. They have one that looks exactly the same, right? Like, look at the placement of the buttons and everything. It's like virtually identical. So they're all just rebranded. I think there's like, there's like one little company somewhere in Shenzhen that makes every fiber laser there is, right? And people just put their names on it.
What you heard when he said too is that a JTP laser, there's really like 3 or 4 manufacturers, right? Well, I would say 3 or 4 manufacturers to certain components, right? It's like saying like a Chevy pickup or a Dodge pickup. Is it really a Chevy? Like when they're assembled all over the places. Parts come all over the world, but it's still American truck, right? Dodge trucks are made in Mexico, but it's an American truck, right?
Apparently they're going to double in price if in November, right?
Yeah. As long as it doubles my value, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, your trade-in value will be cut in half, but
right. So here I'm gonna unshamelessly throw a plug out there, but in all honesty though, like if you are looking for a laser, a fiber laser, send them an email. Tell them I sent you, and at least you're cutting out the middleman. You're buying factory direct, and you're going to see realistically what you get for your money. Because sometimes I think that and there's nothing wrong with just it's like you don't walk into a Ferrari dealership and you have $5 in your pocket, right? But you also, if you're going to purchase something, you kind of know where to start. Like, are you way off basis? Should you be starting with a dial laser? Should you be starting with a CO2 laser? Like, or do you need to save to get there? Like, there's nothing wrong with. It's not like you're tire kicking, but you got to know where to start. So it may not be a bad idea to just give them a call and say, hey, look, I'm looking for a 30-watt fiber laser. What's the reality of the price of that? And then the other thing is too, is that when you're buying factory direct, you see so many people on Facebook nowadays, they're advertising all these lasers. And it was like, if we lived near a Home Depot and Home Depots are only in your state and you could sell on Amazon Home Depot products, you'd make a killing, right? Well, if you live in China and the factory's right there, you could technically, but the biggest difference is these large manufacturers, they have deals with brokerage companies that do the importing, right? And take care of all the importing, because when you're importing these equipment in from overseas, you have to pay import taxes, all these other taxes. And if these people try to lie on the paperwork, you could be on the hook that all of a sudden your laser shows up and the man calls you like, hey, you need to pay $1,200, or we're confiscating your laser because you didn't pay the import tax. So, that's something to think too. Like, you're dealing with someone who's used to importing to the United States all the time. You're not going to have those type of problems. They're taking care of all that paperwork for you. And the other thing is they can audit. So, you start getting stuff all the time, they can audit you and then send you a bill, just like the IRS. By the way, we know you received so many packages and you owe us $5,000. So just something to think about, And then of course you can do all your, your Montport and all the other laser manufacturer you find stateside, and just really see an apples to apples comparison. That's all. That's why I support all of you guys. I purchased my equipment with your honest reviews, $2,500 worth of equipment. I'm very happy and impressed.
Sweet.
Good deal.
Yeah.
That means we're doing our jobs too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I can't tell you how much it bothers me every now and again if someone will say, well, you recommended this thing and I have this problem. And it's like, okay, it's not my laser, but I can only review what I see. And one of them, I've had a couple people, and I think it's more a function of the popularity of the We Create vision. I've had a couple of people say, oh, I have this problem. And it's like, okay. And the real problem is that the customer support of almost all of these companies is just brutal, right? Like, they just don't invest in customer support. And it's, it's one of those things, right? Hey, Ventari's on. Hey, Steve.
The person that I got the Allegro from could cut a perfect circle with it, but engraved would not be a perfect circle. I just need firmware update. Now that's fine.
Yeah, I had to do a firmware update on my Delta when I got it, but mine was sort of pre-production, and there were a lot of things that weren't working on it. And
my Alpha had the same situation.
Like, you cut something and it's all kind of jaggy, the cuts, if you're cutting at an angle or in an arc. And I made a comment to them and they said, well, you just have to do a firmware update. And it's okay. The Delta has actually automatic firmware updates now. So
this may be a loaded question, but the dial laser engraved decently can cut a 1/4 inch plywood from templates. How many watts dial laser are you talking about?
20.
20 will do it.
Yeah. You could do it with a 10, but it takes multiple passes.
The only thing that I would say about plywood is it's glued. And if you saw,
it can be unpredictable. It can
Yes.
be unpredictable on the same sheet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't have.
Yeah, I've had plywood that you have, the glues are different from internal use plywood to external use plywood. The glues are very different. It's hard to cut external plywood, like outdoor plywood. I've also had plywood that has nylon cord running through it for strength, and it cuts the wood fine. Then it hits a piece of that nylon cord, and it's white, right? That's why it doesn't cut. And the beam hits it, and it just everything is loose, but it's just full of string, and you have to end up taking a knife and running it around. So you have to be really careful, especially if you're buying hardware store plywood. I found a couple that I like, and they come from Home Depot, and
yeah, same.
I use those all the time. This stuff here is hardware store plywood, Home Depot, and it's just it's just MDF? Like one core,
like MDF or what's that, project board, the panels, hardwood panels.
Yeah, MDF is hard to cut though with any laser really. Again, for the same reason, there's different kinds of MDF, and some of it, the glue is different in it.
The density, right?
There's also MDO, and that's really hard to cut.
Yeah, I used to make a lot of speaker boxes back in the day out of that.
If you cut a lot of MDO with like even on your table saw, that'll even dull a carbide blade pretty quick.
Yeah, I used to make speaker boxes out of that back in the day. You also have to fill out the customs radiation clearance and some things like that. I remember. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're buying a piece of equipment stateside, you don't have to worry about any of those hassles. But if you're buying something from overseas, you got to make sure that someone's doing all your import paperwork correctly. Because the last thing you want to do, the bait and switch, right? They're like, oh, this one's 5,000, this one's 7,000. You think, oh, I'm saving money by buying overseas, and then they hit you with an import tax when it gets here.
Yeah, well, when you're buying like a Longer or a X Tool, any of the big ones, they all have like U.S. warehouses, right? So when you buy
Right.
one, it's coming from the local warehouse, and the reason they can do it cheaper than you can possibly do it if you wanted to bring something from China is because they ship a container load of them, right?
Right.
And
They're
so they
replenishing
do
their own
one piece
stock.
of paperwork for the whole container, not
Right.
one for every laser.
Exactly. Yes, I understand the glue issues. I've learned that from you guys.
You haven't learned until you've experienced it yourself, though.
Yeah. Oh, I hate finding that nylon and plywood. I personally have never seen that, to be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, I run into that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roger.
For those who are on the stream here, Vintari has a good laser channel too.
Yeah, I've seen them on YouTube.
Yeah. I liked your the one you did of the black paint with it was like a bunch of kids sitting around a campfire when you engraved it. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I did this one this week. If I
nice.
can get it into some light here. And I put it into this snazzy case. I actually made this framed to show my wife because I wanted to do a photo for her, and she looked at it and went, that's not my style. It's like, what do you do?
Can I engrave food? I have ideas also for my channel. I've seen people engrave oranges.
I know you can engrave a banana because I've done it.
Bananas,
eggs,
yeah.
toast,
steaks. I've seen people do steaks.
They're just begging to be lasered, right?
Yeah.
It's for those people that want a piece of it well done and a piece of it medium rare.
Maybe you can slice it.
Yeah, and then you can label it.
Have you seen those cleaner lasers? Like the people use to clean like frames and car parts and stuff?
Yeah. They're like
They
fiber
cook
lasers.
your steak with it.
Yeah, they're just fiber lasers. Low power.
Well, they can
you can use your fiber laser to take rust off of something.
Yeah. But they have these like backpack ones now that they have 220 plus battery. So so when it doesn't draw, it doesn't flip the breaker.
It's for people who are strong backed.
Well, I think it's for body shops, right?
Yeah.
You bring in an old bomb or you bring in an old 60s car, the old days of sandblasting would crush walnuts because they don't, mess up the metal when it's so rusted. A laser would just clean it up without being too abrasive to mess up rusty metal.
Yes, it's a patent drawing. This one happens to be a patent for a water pistol that I dug out of the patent database. You can find some really cool things on there. I'm building a new studio so I can eventually get rid of the back wall and create more space in my workshop here. And I'm probably going to put some of those on the wall just for some eye candy.
You want to know, is that food safe to eat?
Sure it is. So. Yeah.
Sure, it's just cooked.
Yeah, cooked a little more in one spot than the other.
We'll have to make a hot dog.
I wouldn't heat an egg too much if it's in the shell. It might pop, but
yeah, that'd make a hell of a mess to clean up for sure.
I love Corby's comments.
Nice one.
Hopefully he can get a laser.
Yeah, well, apparently a lot of manufacturers are watching our live, so that's good, guys. You guys got any giveaways you want us to give our subscribers or anything you want us to review? Let us know. Hit us up in our inboxes.
Yeah, just put it in the comments and point
to
a manufacturer.
You know they won't do that. I'm kidding. They'll get 2,000 emails the next day
from manufacturers going, "Stop labeling us."
No, that's funny though. Uh-oh. No Bearded Viking with you guys live anymore. He was in the chat earlier. Didn't join our live today.
Yeah, he comes and goes. Hopefully he can make some guest appearances on occasion.
Yeah, there you go. He's still a friend of ours. No worries. I need a laser.
I thought you bought an Algo Laser Delta for $500. Or was that someone else? No, that was you.
There you go. Okay, any manufacturer watching want to give a free laser away, I'm down. There you go. Our
There you go.
subscribers are saying they want free lasers. So we know
Well,
you guys are watching.
I'll
What's up
see.
for our
I'll see if I
subscribers?
can convince a manufacturer to do another contest, maybe once a
Okay.
quarter.
Okay.
I
There
was
you go.
Corby. I was devastated that you didn't win the last one.
Yeah. I was thinking about selling mugs on Etsy. Thoughts?
Yeah, that works. You need to have something unique. Don't try to copy what everybody else is doing because
Yeah, do something different. Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be something different, unique. Find your own niche there.
Yeah, that was the key point that you said in there. Niche. Find your own niche. Like anyone can sell tumblers, but if you have a niche or something.
Yeah.
Um,
So a galvo laser isn't a kind of laser. The galvo is the thing that steers the mirrors, and
Yeah,
fiber
and-
lasers have galvos.
Yeah, instead
So
of
does
stepper,
the
instead of stepper
F1.
motors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so does the F1.
there you go. Wasn't meant to be. I'm okay with that.
Next one.
Says, I know I might burn down my house at this time. Now, when I first got my laser, my wife says, it was about the third day. Our house smells like a hamster cage. So, yeah, I put in some vents. And we don't have that problem anymore. But, yeah. You definitely want an external vent for sure. Obviously, I'm in my basement. I would like to have a CO2. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a CO2 galvo buys you, other than it's not a big box like a regular CO2. It's kind of the form factor of a fiber laser.
Have you seen those CO2/RF lasers?
Yeah, that's what this would end up being. It would be an RF CO2 laser.
Yeah, I
They
don't know
do
anyone
an
who owns
amazing
one.
job engraving glass.
Yeah, I don't know anyone owns one, but I saw they have like a drop down like inside of it, like everyone, so you can put the cups or all that, and it's all built inside it. I was like, man. And then like an external cooler it seems pretty big though, a big footprint on it.
Well, it's a CO2, right? So
Right.
there's physics involved, right? You can't get 100 watts out of a 2-inch long CO2 tube.
I replied back with some suggestions. I tried them, but not much luck.
I guess I need to know what the question was. I get so many comments a day. There's I can't keep track of everything.
Let us know what your question is. It's a live question and answer. We can answer it right now.
Yeah, I'll just ask specifically what it was. Because honestly, I don't recall. So many comments every day that.
Oops, sorry.
Same question again.
Oh, burning tumblers is sublimation. Either your time is too long. If you're doing sublimation, your time's too long, or you're using too much pressure, or the heat's too high. If you're burning tumblers and you're laser engraving them, you need to crank power down or increase the speed, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that CO2 lasers do a better job engraving tumblers than diode lasers. Diode lasers tend to cut through the paint on the tumbler and then darken the stainless underneath it sometimes. So you end up with dark text, which on a white cup might be great, but if the cup is already black, you end up engraving and you can't see it.
I think with a fiber laser, you almost have to, like, the first pass has to barely take it off, and then your crosshatch cleans it up, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, like a fiber laser. Fiber lasers are great for engraving tumblers if you have a rotary for it.
Yeah. When I got my laser matrix, it was at idle for 2 weeks until I got the exhaust done. Yep.
So you looked at it in the corner and rubbed your hands together.
If I turn my screen so you can see the corner of my basement, I look like a hoarder with a bunch of boxes I haven't opened yet. I don't know if you guys have a section like that.
I have a whole bunch of them right here.
You get an email every now and then. When are you gonna do that video? I'm on it, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I only have one thing left to review. I think and it's not even a laser. It's the Creality 3D scanner, which I've played with a bit, and I don't know if I'm impressed yet or not.
I think it looked cool online. They're pre-sales. Is there a difference between an EU laser over a US laser other than the plug? I think that's
Power
all
supply.
it is.
Power supply.
Yeah, I think it's literally.
If it doesn't have a switch on it to switch from 220 to 120, and you get a EU laser that's 220, that's what you're going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was first ordering like DTF equipment that wasn't from the United States, and it was only 220 and these weird plugs, and you had to do all kinds of
buck boost transformers.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
plus
Rick knows what I'm talking about.
You also have the 50 versus 60 cycle too, right?
Yeah, I had to buy this box, and it was like to make it work right.
Isolation transformer.
Yeah. Amazon was my friend then.
Oh, this has become the weekly question. How do you like the rolling?
When he first started the video, he was singing that song. I want to roll and roll and roll it. How's that song go?
I don't know.
You don't know the song?
No.
What? I'd play it, but we'd get kicked for the
some kind of copyright infringement.
Yeah, exactly. My grandkids came over the other day and they complained my house was too cold. I told them to go stand in the corner because it's 90 degrees over there.
That's a dad joke.
The dad jokes. You said that's right, Roger. Yeah, there you go. Keep it rolling.
I live a sheltered life. That must be a country song or something.
No, it's who the hell sings that song?
Rawhide theme.
Yeah.
Theme from Rawhide. You got to be old
Rawhide.
to know that.
Okay, yeah, okay, I know that.
You got to be old to know that one, or have seen the Blues Brothers.
Well, you see, I'm only 25, so.
Yeah. Twice.
I wouldn't know. Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry. We clicked
There we go.
Yep. Funny.
Limp Bizkit. Yeah.
See, everyone else got the joke.
I mean, these guys go back to when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Which means they're probably ready to go on another world tour.
Yeah, I've been seeing that lately. A lot of people all of a sudden, right?
It's like, there's like the Eagles must be ready to go on tour again. Although I think they've officially retired now. But the Stones, guaranteed they're going to do one more round.
Although when I did see Madonna, I didn't even recognize her.
So, when you start talking about the Rolling Stones and the Eagles, you're back into my high school days.
Yeah.
That's when they first come out.
Yeah.
3D resin printing. No, I have turned down every 3D resin printer I've been offered. I just don't want to get into it.
I have 2 of them. And I did a review on one actually not that long ago, which was a good printer. But you got to understand that resin printers are fast but messy.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
And the prints are usually brittle.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't most people only use them for like jewelry making because they're not actually keeping the print as a permanent thing? They're actually just using it to make a mold, right?
They get used a lot for making casting.
Right.
This was resin printed. If I can get it focused here.
Yeah.
So very high resolution. But if I grab, actually, there was a flag on top of this thing, and it's now snapped off. But it is brittle. Now you can get more durable resin, but it's I don't know. It's still messy.
My son uses it to make D&D figurines.
Yep, it gets used a lot for that kind of thing. Not
right. So
not the kind of thing you're going to use for tools.
Right. So the object itself is not necessarily something that has to be super hard because you're not using the object. You're just using it to make a mold to make something else.
Well,
and
the
it prints
D&D
probably twice
guys,
as fast.
they print them and then hand paint them. And I talked to a guy who I made a bunch of those D&D boxes I showed you. He has a wall full of characters, like big, small. They're all like basically to scale. So a dragon is really big, and some guy who's a thief is a little small guy, and he casts a lot of them.
So I
There
use
you go.
FDM printers because, like this thing here, for example, I need to print 20 or 30 of those at a time. And it's a little hard to do on a resin printer.
Actually,
These
no,
FDM
it's
printers-
easier on a resin printer. Now, it depends on the resin printer. So resin printers are very good at, like, if you print 1 of something or 10 of something, it takes the same amount of time. That's
So
the
the-
nice thing about resin printers.
Well, how so hold on, rewind that. If
How
you
big's the
print 1 of
platform?
something or 10 of something at the same time, how's that possible?
So you have a platform, and I could go get one, but if you have something that you can fit 10 of those things on that platform, when you make it, because the way the process works is it dips down into the resin, and then there's like an LCD screen, and they make it the
Flash,
shape
right?
you want, and then they flash the light through it, right, to harden the resin. Well, that's the same whether you're doing 1 or 10, right?
Oh, I got you.
Now the rule is they all have to fit on the platform, but the one 3D printer I have has a huge platform,
Okay.
and it can print at, I don't know, 250 layers per hour or something.
I mentioned Australia earlier
There's an
today.
Australian guy.
I mentioned Australia earlier today. Hi from Australia. Just bought 2 pairs of safety glasses you recommended for the laser. Were they Roger
Right.
big guy alien goggles?
Yeah, those cloud rays. I love those things, though. Absolutely love them. They fit over my glasses, and they're comfortable. And there's been a couple times I actually forget to take them off, and I'll go walk in the house.
And you look like Bono.
Yeah,
Anyone who's ever seen those glasses, when I saw that video, I was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
These guys. Oh, these ones are actually for a CO2 laser, but the same style.
Yeah.
I have the gold ones up there somewhere. And then of course there's the these are the ones I use for guests. I don't care if they go blind.
I got a drawer full of them, right? Because every laser manufacturer gives you a free laser.
Yeah, those
with
cheap,
them.
those really bad green ones. They're
Yeah.
so terrible.
I got
For anybody who buys a diode
Jack one
laser,
hanging up over there.
if you get a pair of those green glasses, throw them away because they're terrible.
Look, there's 3 of them just hanging over there.
Yeah. Oh, I have a box full of them.
Yeah.
you get these really tacky red ones too.
Yeah. Well, those ones aren't. Those are kind of the next level up from the really bad ones. Those aren't bad.
I couldn't decide which style, so I bought both. You bought the big Darth Vader looking glasses?
I bought those. Yeah, they weren't cheap, but they're optically correct for a blue diode, and they're certified and all that stuff. Now, one of the lasers I got, I don't remember what brand it was, came with these.
Clear?
Wow. Well, no, if they're fiber laser glasses, they could be clear. Where did here? Corby's back with another. He doesn't want us talking about 3D printers now. Because now he's going to want one of those.
We're gonna get death threats from his wife. There you
These
go.
are
These
a little bit better here. These are the right color for a blue diode laser. They need to be orange because that's the opposite of blue.
There's this guy, he's an influencer. I don't know if you guys ever seen him. He does all these reviews on lasers, but he doesn't own any of them. He just wears these Ford glasses and he talks about them on their website. And I said, like, bro, do you own any of these lasers? No, I don't own lasers.
Valley Forged. That's the guy.
Yeah. Like, what the heck? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you only have 2 eyes, and the laser will take them both out at the same time. So
Let's go like this.
yeah, always close one eye when you're using a laser, so you have one good one to walk out of the shop.
I actually make a caution sign to not look at the laser with your remaining eye.
I have one of those. somebody wanted one, so I made a couple of them.
So I sell digital art on Etsy. You know what's funny is that I think that if you sell artwork, you probably make more money than a lot of people because you could sell to everybody, right? Collectively.
I actually had a copyright claim from somebody on Etsy this week. So
Again,
one of the oh yeah, I get them all the time, but this one he says the design you're using is what I'm selling on Etsy. I said, yeah, I know exactly where you bought the design too. You bought it from Dane Graphics, the same place I did. So that was the end of that. I get copyright stuff just every week. I'm getting at least one.
The only thing that I had is that when I first started, I used to do a lot of DTG and DTF shirts, and I started making a lot of Christian shirts. And I'd have people report my Facebook group and page. And because Facebook had to do the investigation, they'd shut my page down for like 3 days. Obviously, after they did complete the investigation, I'd get a notification saying they apologize and, you know, I'm up back and running. But it still sucked that I was constantly getting reported for, you know, it was just Christian sayings. It was not anything like over the top, you know. But crazy.
didn't they after a while just tell people to stop reporting these things?
I don't know. My wife, I even told my wife, like, do you think she's like, maybe we should just stop selling. I'm like, nah, whatever. But yeah. Eventually, I guess they laid off because they, you know, I didn't stop, but it was crazy. You can catch it is that you can't charge much for clip art, so I'm considering selling mugs. You need to package bundle. Like you need to come up with a Christmas bundle, come up with a theme package that's probably like, you know, a decent amount. Because if it's just one particular item, every time you got all the Etsy fees, like what the hell did you make? But if you package things, then people will pay $20, $30 because it's 40, 50 items. That's what I would do. Start packaging things.
If I get this to focus. Anything that's sarcastic sells well.
I should be a billionaire then.
My YouTube got hit because I had an old rugged cross. Yeah. Crazy. Christian sayings are starting to be viewed as hate speech these days.
That's so bizarre.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, just I guess that anything that you sell, you have to believe in it, right? That's why I don't sell anything political, racist, or anything like that.
Yeah, the general rule is to stay away from religion and politics.
But
You'll annoy somebody no matter what, right?
Yeah, I went down the religious route, but I stood away from politics and hate speech. Yeah, but I've been known to be sarcastic or cross the line sometimes.
Almost all the mugs that I sell have sarcastic sayings on them. They're not nasty, but they're just sarcastic.
Round is a shape.
In fact, I have a T-shirt I made that says "May contain sarcasm."
See, Make a what?
May contain sarcasm.
Oh,
right across the front of one of my shirts.
I made a T-shirt when I was working full time. I had a team, and some people were a little. You had to stop and explain things to them, right? And I made a T-shirt that said, "I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you."
Oh,
I wore that in a video, and somebody took great offense to it, and it was like, "It's just a shirt."
Right,
it's
right.
Like I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's dark. I reach into the drawer and I grab a shirt and I leave. I put it on. And when I turn the light on in the kitchen, it's that shirt.
Too funny.
And it wasn't intended to be. It was sarcastic for sure, but it wasn't intended to be upsetting to anybody other than the people I worked with at the time.
Yeah. So I think this so far in this live, this kind of repeated question is that and it almost seems like a theme, right? That what's the best laser as far as wattage you should start with, right? And yeah, crazy.
1,000,000 watts. That would solve all your problems.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vivor heat press, that's a popular one. And speaking of heat presses, I've got one down in the shop right now that just came in. It's made by a company called Big Sun. That's an automatic 15 by 15 heat press. I'm going to be doing a video on it tomorrow, so it'll
So-
probably post next week.
I would say if you're looking for a heat press, that you want to get at least a 16 by 20 or bigger.
Well,
The
my
reason
my HPN is a 16 by 20.
Right. And the only reason I say that is a 15 by 15 is cool, but you start doing shirts over 2X or 2X and bigger, it sucks. And then the other thing is that you're going to have name brands that are just going to be way more expensive, like Heat Press Nations, Hytronics. I have Hytronic heat presses, but I mean, they're insane. They connect to Wi-Fi. They do firmware updates. I mean, they're insane. You turn it on, it has a timer. It tells you 18 minutes till it's warm. But if you took a laser and you went to the heat press and you looked at it and you took the temperature, no matter where you at in that, it's consistent heat. And when you buy these cheap Amazon, heat presses, you're going to have inconsistent heat spots. So if you're doing full print shirts, if you're doing in the center, a lot of times the center is pretty good. But if you're trying to fold the whole shirt, then that's sometimes you're running problems along the edges.
My HPN, I've got the Signature Series 16 by 20. Then I've got their multi-tumbler press, shot glasses and everything else. And they're not cheap, but they're made for, you can use them all day. And
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt them a bit. Whereas some of them, what I call the hobby level, well, the Vivor, it's a good press, but it's not for continuous production. You don't want to run that 24/7. It won't last long.
Thanks, Steve. We'll see you on Wednesday. So if anyone who missed that earlier in the video, we are changing our lives to Wednesday at 6:30 Central Time. Because what's your time, Steve?
I am Atlantic time, so it's currently 10:06 for me.
Okay.
I hang out in the Atlantic Ocean, right? So
He's really a mermaid. That's why he never stands up.
well, the beauty is I'm only about 70 miles from the Gulf Stream, so winters are nice here. We do get snow, but it's very short winter.
Yeah, so we took a vote, and that was the majority rule. So we are listening to our subscribers, and we will be on Wednesdays from now on. And it was funny that we did get an actual comment that said that everyone's stressed and from work and to hustle and bustle, and our video was kind of like breaking up the hump day, right? It was just made them laugh, whatever, bullshit with us the same. So it's funny that
I'm not sure I can handle that kind of pressure.
So we are now officially on hump day on Wednesday. So we have to live up to that name.
Oddly enough, when I talk to my wife, she says it causes stress.
Yeah. Getting married definitely causes stress.
I don't have any stress.
Oh man, that makes one of us, I guess. So we got a lot in the live, guys. Come on, speak up. Let us know if you guys have any questions, anything you want us to answer. And a lot of us already chimed in on where you guys are from, or you guys are joining us from. If you haven't already, let us know. I'd appreciate that. And it was definitely interesting to see there was a lot of people from Australia out. That got me off. United States and Canada, I would expect, but Australia was cool.
Yeah, here you go. It's and here's, speaking of Australia.
It's Friday afternoon.
What happens tomorrow?
That's crazy, actually, when you think about that. That's crazy.
Now, if you could give me the lottery numbers for tomorrow, then I'd be happy.
I got my tickets. I got 29 years of stress. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I got a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. 27. I'm 27 years. I had to use a calculator.
There. See, we're gonna lose one on Wednesday. Well, you can watch the recast.
There you go. Had enough. Hawk. Had enough. Hawk.
Had enough. Okay.
Oh, had enough. Okay.
Yeah. Had enough. Okay.
He must be Canadian.
No, he can't be. He wouldn't make anybody think that hard.
That's funny. Good name. Good name.
This sort of came up a little bit earlier, and I didn't bring it up at the time. but it came up with the food questions, and I think there might be a confusion between the radiation that a laser puts off versus the unsafe radiation that you might get from other sources.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not
So-
even going to comment on that.
Well, I can comment. Having spent several years in the laser industry and several years in the atomic energy industry, I can explain the difference to you pretty plainly. They're not the same thing. Light radiation is very different. And once, in the case of a laser, once the thing is cooked and you turn the laser off, the radiation's gone. Lasers don't have a half-life.
There you go, people. Now you know.
Thank you.
You didn't know we had such qualified people on the staff, did you?
Maybe I need to put that on a T-shirt.
You have a laugh track?
It doesn't have a half-life.
Yeah, you need a laugh track too.
We got one.
Oh boy! Please stop. Oh,
I can't miss IDC Woodcraft.
I
What's
don't
that?
know that one.
I was gonna say I don't know.
Does IDC stand for I don't care, or what does that stand for?
I don't know. I had enough for years on AOL, then somebody took it and I had the okay to use it on Google. Yeah. I still have my AOL email address.
Yep, I do too.
Funny.
Back when they used to send you CDs in the mail about every day.
Yep. 300 minutes, whatever was the CD with.
I never had an AOL account. I had a CompuServe account. You remember CompuServe? You're
Okay.
probably
Oh, yeah.
old enough for that. And your email address was just some number at, well, it wasn't even an ad. I don't think.
Wasn't it CompuServe.net or something like that, right?
It wasn't even, no, there was no dot anything because that was before the internet, right? It was dial-up.
I was actually a systems operator on CompuServe.
Oh, sweet.
Now, for the Family Handyman Forum, the magazine, if you ever heard of that, I was their electrical consultant.
Nice. Okay, Steve, I need a plutonium. I need a DeLorean. I need power. I got the louder numbers for you.
You need a flux capacitor too, though.
Well,
1.2 gigawatts.
I don't actually know anybody in the atomic energy industry anymore. They've probably long retired because I've been out of that business for 20 years.
I got my lottery ticket. Let's see what's it's up to right now. It's up to it's pretty high right now. It's like almost $1 billion, I think. 977 million. That'd be enough. Maybe enough.
But there's a bunch of tax on that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the next video,
33%.
the next video, I'm on a cigar boat in Florida.
Yeah. See, I know Americans like to think that Canadians have a lot of tax, but lottery winnings are tax-free here.
I know that sucks. Here's the thing: if they charge like paid up front, I'd rather pay the taxes right now. Charge me the tax on my ticket. So if I win, I don't pay taxes. How many people would pay it? I guaranteed everyone would just pay it.
Well, what if you lose? Then you just paid a whole bunch of money for nothing.
So what? You're only talking 25 cents. The ticket's $2. What's tax on $2?
Oh, tax on the ticket, yeah.
Right. So then when you win, you don't pay tax when you win.
Not proactively paying tax on the winnings.
Right.
Apparently you don't know how government works.
Yeah.
They'll go, oh, well, we can charge them on both ends.
Well, Roger, I have a flux capacitor, but I'm having the damnedest time finding the plutonium.
I know where there is some, but
for a long time,
let's not get on a watch list, okay?
Well, it's under pretty big security, so I don't think you'd get in. But
I took a capacitor out of a cat bank once and put it on my desk back when I was working, and I actually had flux capacitor written on it and 1.2 gigawatts underneath it.
Considering how expensive they are, they're probably in somebody's catalytic converter.
I'm from the future. Just toss out your ticket. I already won. I always say the lottery is the cheapest therapy you'll get, right? For $4, you're bullshitting like, man, if I won this, if I won that, you lose, you do it all over again.
See, I've always said the lottery is a tax for people who can't do math.
I'm not a gambler, although we do have casinos around here. My wife and I do go to one of them quite a bit, but we don't gamble. We like we like the entertainment there, and they have a nice bar and lots of good food, and
We used to go to, there was a casino not too far from where I lived before I moved here, and we used to go not to gamble, but we used to go to watch horse races because they had harness racing there, and we didn't bet. We didn't know how to bet on horses, but we just watched the horses. It was amazing. But yeah, I'm not very good at gambling. My wife has won thousands gambling, but she doesn't
You can
gamble very
sell
often.
Mr. Fusion on the cheap. I'm not sure what that means.
Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future.
Oh,
When he comes, when Doc comes back at the end of the first movie, he's got the Mr. Fusion on the back of the car.
If you find the watch the list. Watch. Don't Mags, I'll go back and erase the watch list. Nice.
Probably own it already. Hackers probably own it already anyway. Yeah, I'd rather.
I heard that there are actual hoverboards. That there
are.
Yeah, it's probably some secret device designed at Area 51, right?
Well, the hoverboards are actually considered fire starters.
Really?
Had a lot of problems with them burning.
Yeah, they don't actually hover though. They just stole a good name for a product.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, those things, they use such cheap batteries in them, right? And then they really hammer them when they charge them. It's like the Samsung phones there for a while were catching fire because they were just blasting the power into them.
Yeah, now iPhones are doing that.
I have a Tesla Model 3, and if I ever go to a supercharger, those things are like 440 volts at 110 amps. And it's like, how the hell does this thing not catch fire? Like the cord from the charger to the car is liquid cooled, and it's actually bigger than the connector. Yes, and it's bigger than the connector you plug into the car. So in Canada, all of the chargers are version 3 chargers, the latest and greatest ones, and those things are just crazy. Like they'll charge your car in like 10 minutes. You can drive away.
So does the rapid charge burn the battery out by not doing a slow?
Yeah, I don't go very often. Like I charge at home most of the time, but if I'm on a long trip, I'll use a supercharger. And I never charge to 100% though.
Do you have a Tesla pack at your house?
Yeah, I have a wall charger. Not one of those
like
cool red and white ones.
Oh yeah, nice one.
Just a regular 220 volt charger.
Okay.
It's that one thing I did for the environment.
Put
myself in debt for the environment.
There's actually a real hoverboard, but it only works on specified track, and the magnets need to be cooled with nitrogen to even work. So they work until they warm up. Oh man, why you gotta stop my dreams? I remember seeing them advertised in magazines. Do you guys remember that? To buy them?
All I remember is like the X-ray glasses.
All right, guys, what is a gimmicky gift or a gadget that you saw back in the day that you thought was cool is a total sham?
So when I was a kid, I got a wrist radio for Christmas. Now, keep in mind, when I was a kid, it was like the very late 60s, very early 70s, and a wrist radio was about this big. And it used it only had room for like one AA battery, so you had radio for about 10 minutes, and then you had to change the battery. That was a gimmick. That was a total gimmick, but it was really cool. I had a radio.
I remember I had a wallet with a watch on it. I thought that was so cool. And a zipper. I thought I was so cool with that. What the heck? Can't be that hard to distort gravity field. Different frequencies make different patterns on board with rice on them. All right, brother. Put your money in your mouth. This make us some
Politicians have been
hoverboards.
distorting gravity for decades.
If you can make us a hoverboard, we'll review it for you. Okay.
If you can distort gravity, I'm all over it. Just tell me how much money you need.
It's designed to burn the batteries out, so all the child labor mining won't stay working. Oh man, we gotta change that one.
Oh, it's borderline politics. Yeah.
Yeah. Sea monkeys. There you go.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
I
yes.
fell into that. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What about
think
chia
everybody
pet?
had those.
Anybody ever have a chia pet?
No, I had Mexican jumping beans though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they came in you go to like I don't know, it wasn't Kmart at the time, but department stores at the
7-Eleven.
cash register they had the little plastic thing with these little beans jumping around in it. And
Hey V, you joined us
had those.
towards the end of our live, and we just remember reminiscing of gimmicky items that were a child that you wanted. They were a sham.
There were just
Dick
so
Tracy.
many. Like
Dick Tracy had that wrist radio.
I remember when I was a kid, everyone said hoverboards are real, but the government stopped them because they were too dangerous and kids couldn't stop and were getting hit by cars. I wouldn't doubt it.
now there's a conspiracy theory.
My friends had a laser gun with a zapper on it, and when you got shot, it zapped you. So my dad one day told me the barbecue igniter won't work. Replace it, right? So I replaced it, and then I stuck it, and I clicked it. And when I clicked it, I saw literally a bolt shoot out from it and hit my hand. I'm like, ah! So I brought it to high school, and I'm walking down the halls, and I'm just shooting a lightning bolt at everyone's ass. Ah! Ah! Next thing you know, the school called my mom, and they're like, Rick is encouraging everyone to bring barbecue igniters to school, and they're shooting people with them.
That would officially be the good old days, because if you did something like that today, you'd be arrested immediately.
Oh sure.
All right, looks like you started your GoFundMe. He's gonna do the reverse gravity.
Yeah, he's gonna distort gravity. Just send me the Kickstarter project for that.
Brine shrimp.
Yeah,
That
was
was
one of the sea
Brian
monkeys.
Shrimp, they were the sea monkeys.
Yeah.
Spanish fly.
Oh.
Wow, now we're headed into the racy part of the conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had
Handshake
one
and
of them.
buzzers.
Yeah, I had one of
them.
those too. I was a little
But they didn't
disappointed to
work.
find out that they weren't actually electronic.
Yeah,
were
they
just
didn't
like-
work. They just buzzed.
They were just this wind-up thing,
Yeah, that was so disappointing. For
and
sure.
it was anything but subtle, right? You got this gigantic metal thing stuck in your hand, especially as a 5-year-old, right? Like the thing covers your whole hand.
Yeah, you weren't hiding that at all. We used to make orange guns with those clickers. There you go.
Of course,
Too
I had a
funny,
lot
though.
of fun the first time I got a hold of a whoopee cushion. I had all kinds of fun with that as a kid.
Yeah, I gave my son one not too long ago.
Thankfully, we've evolved from the Whoopee Cushion to the Whoopee Cushion app for your phone.
Oh, I was in Walmart. They were selling whoopee cushions. My son wanted one, so I was walking down the aisle. And when someone gets too close to me, I just squeeze it, and I would just laugh and walk away. My wife's like, "Why are you such a child?" I was like, "You're lucky I wasn't recorded. This might do good on YouTube."
It's part of the male experience.
Jetpacks in the magazines.
You
Yeah,
always
they
wanted
were-
one of them.
They were in the same category as X-ray glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never got into comics. You guys get into comics? Never got into that.
Oh
Not
yeah, I
really.
was I was a big Superman fan and Batman and so on. Back, when I was before I was a teenager.
Yeah, I had a few, not too many.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember when I was in the States, marbles were big, and when I went to Canada, it wasn't big. It seemed like I remember when I was in grade school, and the first thing they said is, "Did you bring your skates?" I'm like, "Skates? What the heck are you talking about?" They're like, "Yeah, on recess, everyone skates." I'm like, "Are you serious?" And they had
Well,
this huge giant ring set up outside. So I had to start
If you were,
bringing
if you were in the Elliott Lake, you probably skated about 10 months a year.
yeah. So I brought my skates to school so we can ice skate outside on recess. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, where I live here, it barely gets cold enough. But last winter, I watched my neighbor try to make an outdoor rink for his kids, and I just shook my head. It's like, yes, it might be 3 degrees below freezing today, but tomorrow is going to be 8 degrees above freezing. So, like, don't
Right.
bother. And I'd see him out there 3 or 4 times a week, putting water on it, and then it would get warm and melt, and he'd do it again. It's like, give it up, man. I noticed he didn't do it this year.
When someone gets too close to me in the line at the store, I turn and grab the invisible person on my shoulder and make them throw a motion and scream, "Get off me!" It's just
That'll give you space around you.
Well, that's not good for me. I teach a woodworking class to kids on Wednesday night. Well, guess what? You can bring us live on your woodworkings.
Yeah, bring all the kids.
There you go. Then it would be cool too, Tom. And if you want us to show your students anything, we got a lot of expensive equipment. We can show your students something. Let us know. We can do something special for you. That's actually really cool.
Bring them all and give them all a laptop so they all count as a view.
Hey, I guarantee they all have phones. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Invisible dog leash. I had one of those as a kid. It's just a stiff rope. You walk with it.
With a collar on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, did anybody have one of those little rockets you fill with water and then you pump it up and then it flies?
Yeah.
No. Oh, rocket. I thought you said rock.
Oh, well, same difference because you'd be surprised how many windows you can break.
This reminded me, the ultimate lawn darts, the original ones with the spike on the end.
Oh, yeah, the jarks.
I had those.
Yeah, we had those.
Yeah.
Then they decided that they were bad because kids were getting stabbed in the head. Like you take literally a dart that's this big with a big point on the end of it, and you throw it in the air.
Yeah.
To me as a kid, you could have gave all the expensive toys in the world, but if you gave me a 35-cent, 45-cent Matchbox, I was in heaven. I loved Matchbox cars as a kid.
I don't know how old you are, Roger, but I'd say maybe 7 or 8 years before I was in toy mode as a kid, there was Gilbert's Atomic Energy Lab.
Oh, yep.
Those things are like major collector items now if you can find them.
I had that. I had a Chemcraft chemistry set, which showed all these chemicals that told you never to mix everything together to see what it do. So what do? Yeah, those chemistry sets and that stuff. The other things I had was creepy crawlers.
Oh, I had those
made by Mattel, and then a vacuum form. All these things that would burn the hell out of you. They would never have that. They would never have that stuff out now.
Yeah, but the Atomic Energy Lab was just crazy, right? It was a thing. It was like those electronic labs that they used to make for kids, where you'd wire everything together, except it was like radioactive material, right? And so not only did it come with a bunch of radioactive material, there was a card in the box to send away to get more.
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Look it up. Google it. Gilbert's Atomic Energy Lab.
Yeah.
And if you could find them in a box, like, because they come up in like people, who are that age are now kind of dying of old age, right? So their kids go in and clean out their houses and they dig up in the attic and they find one of these things. They come up for sale every now and again and they're worth thousands.
Yeah. I obviously don't have mine anymore. Hungry Hippos. That was my old neighbors when I was growing up. Oh, you're talking about the game.
Yes. Yeah. I like Kerplunker. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pull the sticks out and the marbles will fall. That was cool.
Bocce balls. Now that reminds me of something they had when I was in high school called clackers, which were these 2 acrylic balls with a string on, and you
I remember that.
Make them clack, and every once in a while they'd blow up. Then you had shrapnel everywhere.
They'd shatter, and you'd have these really sharp pieces of glass everywhere. Speaking of acrylic, I actually cut my finger today on just on a piece of acrylic. I broke it and cut the edge, and It's like, holy cow. But that's what clackers would do. They'd cut out into all these really sharp edge things.
Yeah.
And they got banned fairly quickly. Mood rings was another one.
Yep, mood rings. That's funny. All
The
right,
first,
guys.
the first useful application for liquid crystals.
Looks like we reached our time. It's 8:30. Anything you guys want to say and close out? What'd you say?
I said 10:30 on the coast.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you guys. You know, it was kind of creative of us to come up with something goofy as a child that we all enjoyed, funny, and everyone kind of having their inputs on that, and just a little while to bring you back in childhood. Maybe some great memories you had, or maybe some bad, but you know, we all grew up.
Yeah,
So,
Operation. I was good at that.
Pet Rock. Now they're flooded in since we're getting ready to end it. They're hurry up and get their comments in. I was really surprised that no one had a Chia Pet, but if Walgreens still has them for the reason I may buy one, stick it in the background, that'd be
just
funny.
set it up on top of your laser there.
Oh, I had one of those.
Oh, that's
64.
That was modern technology compared to the first ones I had. If you want to know what my very first computer was, look for an RCA Cosmac VIP. This thing was like a hex keypad.
Mine was a Timex Sinclair.
Yeah, see, that was like third generation for me.
Did you guys have a ColecoVision?
Nope. I had an original Atari VCS.
I had an Atari 2600. And the ColecoVision you could plug the Atari into the front of it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was before Atari.
Yeah, the Atari I had was before they called it the VCS or the 2600. It was the same machine. For about a year or two before, I think it got bought by somebody. Well, somebody took it over. It was, I still have it someplace. I wonder where it is, but it's probably worth money now.
Yeah, funny times.
An old TI-99.
They were a powerful computer for the day.
Oh yeah, I had the big expansion box that had there was a bus cable that was like 4 inches wide. That you plugged the expansion box into the side port.
Yeah, it was like a I don't know what bus standard it was, but it was one of the early ones.
Yeah.
Hubert, you guys remember that game? Where you had to jump?
Hubert,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I actually got to run because I got to put my son to bed. But I had a good time tonight, guys. I thank you guys for joining me, and thank for everyone in the other one of our subscribers for joining. We had some good laughs at the end. That was funny. Maybe at the end of our videos, we'll bring up something goofy like that to just kind of make everyone reminisce.
The bloopers. Yeah.
Thank you guys all. God bless. Appreciate everyone joining.
Yeah, we'll see you all next Wednesday.
Take care.
Yep. Bye.